talking about my AncestryDNA results. I got them back a long time ago because I did them a long time ago. But this is my first video doing my results. Now I'm not going to actually show you guys them, but I will just start talking about them. So a little backstory on why I wanted to do, my AncestryDNA. So I am half black and half whatever. I'll get into that. Anyways, I'm half black. I grew up black. My mom is, she had me when she was 14. She was raped with me. And I can talk about it now because, I've talked about it to many people before. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not embarrassed by it. It is what it is. It's happened. I am a product of rape, and it affects her way more, obviously, than it does me. However, I always wanted to know what I was. She's told me some things, however her information was not reliable. So I wanted to go and figure out what I am. Now I do consider myself black. That's what, on all those check off boxes we gotta do for job applications or school information, when it asks you what your race is, I just say black, African American, and that is that. However, that doesn't stop people from asking me, what are you? Oh, you look like you're mixed. Oh, are you this or are you that? I've got so many things. So my question to them was, well, you take a guess. Your answer is probably better than mine. Anyways, did the AncestryDNA test. It doesn't, for those of you who have done it already, it doesn't tell you specifically where you're from, but it does go into detail on where your DNA is located around the globe. So let's get into that. I am 53% African, so you have 17% from Cameroon, Congo, 14% from Benin or Togo. I think I just messed that up. I don't know. Okay, and 10% from Senegal and 12% from trace regions. Trace regions is pretty much just little spots that the AncestryDNA couldn't identify. So I am 7% Native American, 6% Asian East with 2% from a trace region, 30% European, 12 of that is Italy, Greece, 7% is Iberian Peninsula, and 11% is the trace regions. And then I got Pacific Islander, and then West Asian. So that's pretty much what it is. However, that was not the most interesting thing with AncestryDNA that I found to be beneficial. That's all cool to know all those percentages. It's nice to know. That's not why I did this. I did it so I can narrow it down. So one of the best benefits to me that AncestryDNA offers is that you can... Okay, so this is why they really promote people to do the test. They want as many people to do the test so you can start connecting with other people based off of your DNA. So let's say my aunt did it, right? My aunt did the test, she sends it in, she gets her results back, and I did the test too. It's going to show that me and her are connected DNA wise. So, and they'll even give you an estimate on how far apart you are from that person. So they'll tell me, me and my aunt are about two people away from each other. So that's great. I like it. But how that helped me out was because I was able to narrow down who my dad was. Since my mom was raped at 14, she didn't know who the guy was. She just basically kind of tried to remember him. Throughout the years, she tried to keep his face in the back of her mind. Obviously, that goes away with time, However, she's seeing him in me every day. Mind you, my mom is cocoa skin. So she sees all these things in me that reminds her of him. But you know, his face starts to go away after a time. It just happens. So, oh God, y'all, it took me a while. It took me a long time to actually like narrow down who he was, because like he didn't do a test, so it's not gonna give me him, but it did give me a wide range of people who I share DNA with. And they even narrow it down to cousins, which is dope. They narrow it down to cousins, and they'll tell you that. So I have one first cousin, I have 3 second cousins, I have 3 third cousins, and a crap ton of fourth cousins. So out of everybody that I'm on, you know, that I share DNA with, it's about 936 people that I share DNA with. Now, some of them can be hits, some of them can be misses, but that was my focus. The fourth cousins, I wasn't looking at that far out. I was just looking at the first, second, and third cousins. Thank God, they did family trees. Now 3 people within my first, second, and third cousins, let me check that again. I'm sorry, 4 people within my first, second, and third cousins did a family tree that was broad enough for me to start narrowing it down and figuring out how many spaces am I away from them. It took a while. It took a long time for me to do this. Literally, it took like well over a year. Yeah, it took well over a year to do it. Mind you, I've been in school, I've been working, I have 2 kids, I'm married. So all my attention wasn't solely focused on this, but it still took me a while. When I seek no outside help or anything, it took me a long time to narrow him down. And okay, so eventually one day I was just like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna figure out who this guy is. 45 minutes. It took me 45 minutes that day with all of my, you know, prior research to get to like him, like who he is. And I'm gonna make up some names. So I finally get to Alejandro. I finally find Alejandro. Mind you, this family is Puerto Rican, so yes, I found out that I am Puerto Rican and black, but I grew up black, so I'm still black. But for those of you and everybody outside in the world who asks me what I am mixed with, I just say Puerto Rican and black just to get that conversation through. But some of y'all feel me. But anyways, so I figured out who Alejandro was. It was down to him and one other person. Why I chose him was, so I found out who he was. I found out who his sister was. Let's call her Jessica. So I found out who Alejandro was, and I found out who Jessica was. Now, Alejandro had 1 brother and 2 other sisters, and I found them on Facebook. I did not find Alejandro, but I did find his siblings on Facebook. So I contacted her and reached out, see, you know, what their family dynamics are like, because he has a record. So, and it matches up. My mom was raped at 14, mind you. This guy is a sexual predator. He has gotten caught like 3 times with minors. So it makes sense, right? Right. So I contacted her, and she wants to act on nonchalant, like, oh yeah, we're family, but like I see on AncestryDNA, like we're family, whatnot. Oh, but I don't think my brother did that. Girl, I think he did. But that's neither here nor there. I like completely took her out the picture. This guy looks so much like me. So one of his sisters, the one who was like, that's not, you know, he didn't do that. Maybe that was somebody else. So not her, but his other sister looks so much like me. However, she's full Puerto Rican, obviously. But she looks so much like me. It's crazy. And this guy, Alejandro, it's uncanny how much, like, I always thought that, you know, I looked like my mom growing up, and I favored my mom. My little sister, she favors my mom. I'm just thinking we all favor each other. Like, we all look like each other. My mom, my sister, my grandma, we all look like each other. My son. But when I seen this guy, everybody who I showed that picture to was like, that's your daddy. And I was just like, I know, and it makes sense because like whereas all his family is on the East Coast, I am from San Francisco. I don't live there anymore. That's why I don't mind saying it. I'm from San Francisco. Everybody in his family is that whole family tree with over 900 people that I was looking at. All of them are on the East Coast. He is the only one on the West Coast. And he's stuck there because he is a sexual offender and he cannot leave. So he's the only one on the West Coast in Arizona. And when you look at, another reason why I narrowed it down to him was because I looked at his criminal history, and you can see that he's working his way down California. Like he was like started up here in California and then started coming down here, and somehow ended up in Phoenix, Arizona. So yeah, I was able to do that, and I thought it was pretty interesting. Now, I didn't exactly need to, know who he was. I'm not expecting to build a relationship with him. Obviously, my mom is still dealing with a lot of mental turmoil from that. So I'm not looking to build a relationship with him or his family. I don't want a relationship with his family, considering when I reached out, she was quick to say that, he had nothing to do with that, knowing, I'm sorry, I stalked her Facebook too. Don't judge me, I stalked her Facebook too. And a few years ago, she picked him up from jail. Like, so this man is in jail for something, but he's innocent and raping a 14-year-old? Okay, that don't make no sense to me. So I don't want a relationship with them either. I don't want to get to know them, but it's nice. It's reassuring to have that confirmation on this is who, my dad is, my biological dad. My biological dad. It's nice to be able to put a face to this mystery, my whole life. I'm 24 now, never knew who he was, didn't have no inkling, didn't know anything. So yeah, it's nice. And all of this through AncestryDNA. If I could promote them and get sponsorship, hey, come my way, because I be telling everybody about y'all. Okay, so yeah, I guess that's it. I am half black and half Puerto Rican. That's what I found out through him. Since I inherited something from him, hopefully, my bloodline don't inherit his bad tendencies.